Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Buzz channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry. And today we are talking about the Bears, the number one pick, Justin Fields. So I'm going to say one thing I don't love. I didn't need the number one pick. I said that before. But one thing I'm really not loving is the national spotlight that we're getting. I guarantee you that if we had the number two pick, there would be no discussion right now about the Bears and the quarterback. For whatever reason, because we have the number one pick, there's a discussion. Now, my guess is that people believe Bryce Young is head and shoulders above. Now, all of the draft people that I know and work with and respect, I've not heard that. So that's why it makes no sense to me. But obviously, the media doesn't know much and they just go off narrative. So if you listen to them, Bryce Young is a generational talent. And in that case, the Bears would not have a shot because if you had a generational talent, the Texans would take them because they need a quarterback. And so therefore, the Bears, there was no discussion about quarterback. That's my guess. But if we had number two pick, you just wouldn't hear anything. We have number one pick, so now people won't stop talking about could the Bears move on from Justin Fields. Again, I personally think CJ Stroud is better just off what I've seen live, and that's very different than really focusing and studying the film, which I will be doing hopefully soon. But I don't see Bryce as a generational talent. Maybe he is. I haven't really watched him a lot this year, so we will see how he looks. But I just don't see that. But again, if people see it that way, that's probably why they're talking about it. Now, anyway, I told you before, or not even before, once we got the number one pick, I already kind of told you how I felt about it. Now, I'm sure some people are probably like, no, that's silly. Bears aren't going to even consider a quarterback. And I told you, don't believe the hype. That I would put $1 million on it. There's no scenario where you have the number one pick and you don't do your homework. And again, this is a draft channel first and foremost. So if you have not paid attention to the draft content, you should. And if you have not heard me talk before, you need to understand this is not about just draft night. People understand that. GMs, coaches, they get fired. They get fired a lot. They go to different places. Players, they become free agents. They become trade targets. These players are going to be the players that you're going to be working with in this NFL pool. No, not every single one is going to be somebody you come across. Not every single one is going to be a valuable player. But you don't know who is going to be. And so, obviously, every year, that's why the homework is done. You don't know who's going to be available where, not for certain. And you don't know which one of these picks is going to do well. So, again, you got to do your homework. But also, those connections help down the line if you might want to pick up a player from free agency, if you might want to trade, if you go to a new team and they might want to pick up a player that you once had. All those connections matter. You're going to do your homework on every position group. It's just that simple. And that's just at the base level. But I took it even further and I told you, Justin Fields is not a made man. I'm not sure why everybody thinks he is, but he's not. When I would say everybody, when I say that, I mean Bears fans. A lot of these Bears fans talking like it's a cash guarantee is not. It really isn't. And again, it wasn't me saying, hey, we're going to replace Justin Fields. Didn't say that. Didn't even say necessarily we need to replace Justin Fields. All I said was they're going to do their homework. And if somebody that they feel is a better talent than Justin Fields or has a better future and a chance, they're going to consider it. And again, I'm sure many people heard that, was like, whatever. Some people said, nah, not even remotely happening. But Ryan Poles comes out, says it himself. And yes, there's going to be people like, well, he's just trying to push up the price. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. The Bears aren't in that position of leverage. They're not going to be able to push the price up by saying they might take a quarterback. If this was Cardinals, probably not a good example. Let's say most of the good quarterbacks are in the playoffs. But let's just say this was last year and it's the Chargers for whatever reason. Chargers had number one pick, didn't make playoffs, but they got Justin Herbert. If the Chargers was like, hey, we might look into it, nobody's gonna believe them. Nobody's gonna believe them. The only way you think you might have some leverage is if it's possible you might get rid of your QB. So for all those people that think Ryan Poles was just using lip service to boost up the price, you got to understand that that only works if people believe you could move off your quarterback. And people believe probably that Justin Fields can be moved off of. Apparently, a lot of people believe that. That has become a trending topic on the 24/7 sports media world where they talk about narratives all day. And right now, the fun narrative is, will the Bears get rid of Justin Fields? Now, again, this talk happens all the time, but of course, the masses wait until someone on a platform says it. Now it's a big topic. So someone proposes a trade to the Ravens, trade Justin Fields, get a first round pick, and something else. Yeah. And so I would honestly say that makes sense because they're not willing to give Lamar what he wants. Justin's not in a position to demand anything yet. And so you trade your first round pick, you're in the playoffs, you get Justin Fields, who can do a system similar to Lamar, and then you trade Lamar and get whatever compensation you get for that. Not saying that's a trade I think will happen or should happen, just saying, yeah, that makes sense on the surface. But yeah, so that just sparked the whole debate to overdrive about, will the Bears get rid of Justin Fields in order to get Bryce Young? And that's how a lot of people are phrasing it. The narrative is that Bryce Young is this top quarterback, and so that's what people are spinning. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but again, that's where we are. So all that to say, obviously, as I'm sure you're aware by now, there's a lot of people that think Justin Fields is not completely locked in. And there's a lot of people that are ready to go with the narrative of speculating if they're going to get rid of Fields for the rest of the offseason until we get to the draft. Now, you could say Ryan Poles kind of sparked that first, I guess, but I mean, he said pretty much what I already said. I said that right when we got the number one pick. I've been watching teams do drafts for a long time. That's just not how they operate. They don't sit here and say, "Oh, we're not even going to look. We got number one pick. We're just not going to look at these players." No, it doesn't matter if Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck, or any of them in the draft. They're going to look at the players. Does that mean they're going to go to the pro day? Does it mean they're going to have a private workout? All that stuff? Maybe not. But they're going to do their digging on the players. They're going to have their staffs talking to Saban about Bryce Young. They're going to go to Bryce Young's high school. They're going to talk to his teammates. They're going to do all those things. Bryce Young and every other quarterback. Shoot, they might ask Justin Fields about CJ. I'm just playing. But they're going to do their homework. So, as I said, that shouldn't be a shock. But as I said, would I go quarterback here? No. I have to watch tape. And then my answer is the exact same. I might change my mind if one of these guys is a talent that I didn't realize. But outside of that, no, I would probably trade the pick. And so that process has to be done, though. It's not a easy slam dunk. So there's that. And then lastly, I'll say, as I've said many times, because I really do not understand what's happening right now. These Indianapolis Colts specifically, these Indianapolis Colt trade proposals are stupid. They are, okay, I wouldn't say stupid. They're outlandish. Let me not be harsh. They're outlandish. Where are people getting this from that they're going to trade all pro players, 2 first round picks, a future first round, a future second to go up 3 spots? It's not happening. It is not happening. I don't, I mean, it would be one of the dumbest trades that I've ever seen. And so I don't know if people know how trades work. And to be honest, people was doing this when we had the number 2 pick too. Oh, well, they're going to give us DeForest Buckner. They're going to give us their first round pick. They're going to give us another first round pick next year. They're going to give us their second round pick this year, maybe a fourth. And it's just like, really? You think we're going to get one pick and we're going to get all that? It's just these trade proposals are stupid. And we know people have given up hauls to move up, but ain't nothing like what y'all talking about. These players are not descending players. These players are all pro that everybody keep mentioning. Is not going to happen. So I'm not looking forward to these ridiculous trade proposals all season. But anyway, that's it for me. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe. And remember, stay up and bear down.